All right, mi gente, this is Rosangel Pérez, and today's subject is Governor Hochul, New York's vaccine dictator, AI spies in your car, shots fired at the WHCD, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, featuring Michael Kane from Teachers for Choice. All right, mi gente, you know what to do. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend that Cafecito Break is live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. And I'm your host, Rosangel Perez. Here is Mark for NY and Cozy, our co-host. And I'm going to pass it on at this time to Mark for NY to introduce himself.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. The tyranny continues. Instead of flying cars in 2027, we're going to have spying cars. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Lots of tyranny going on. No surprise, we've got nonstop tyranny from our dictators in office. But before we get into that, background on me, I ran for office, city council, state assembly, and U.S. Senate in 2021 and 22. Freedom fighter, fighting against the mandates in New York and elsewhere, standing up for the people, regardless of whether I'm running for office or not. And I'm on Mark for NY on all social media platforms. My two freedom fighter family members are my co-hosts, including the one and only Cozy's Wellness. Welcome, Cozy.
What's going on, everybody? This is Cozy, former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID vaccine, proudly fired. And I've been a health freedom activist since about 2009, and I've been fighting ever since. So we're going to talk about the vaccine tyranny. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a war. They've declared war on our bodies, they've declared war on our freedom, and they don't want to stop. So it's up to you, and we're going to tell you what you can do today. So stay tuned, share this with your friends. It's going to be a powerful transmission. We need to let you know how to fight back. And we need to fight back, and not only fight back, but we need to defeat them. So tune in, listen in, and we're going to do our best to defeat these tyrants.
Well, I'd like to start with just letting everybody know that we really appreciate that your time here, and that our space here Monday nights is not meant for us to just chit chat and, be lazy fair, but we want to remind you that it is imperative, especially if you live in New York, to pay attention to some of these things, because they literally affect all of our lives, whether we're talking about health freedom, surveillance, as we will get into a little bit later, and also just this encroachment on all of our liberties, and just even the ability to move from point A to point B. And I know everyone's tired. Believe me, we all know that. But please hang on in there. Take a moment right now. Our special guest will be Michael Kane, and he'll be joining us shortly. But first, I'd like to play a video of an action that took place in Albany about 3 years ago in New York Assembly Committee, when they voted against the parents. So again, this was 3 years ago, and this was an organic moment that happened after the end of the meeting. Cozy, do you want to say anything about this video before or after we play it?
Yeah, I'll comment afterwards.
Okay, all right, mi gente, let me just cue it up. Okay, let me bring it up to the screen.
Are so full of crap. So full of crap. Who do you work for? Do you work for the people? Do you work for the devil? What are you guys doing? Some of us here lost our jobs about this, and you guys don't even care. And you can afford that. You guys are a bunch of traitors. You got children. All of you guys are so grandchildren. You guys are disgusting. Every single one of them are going to get for their children. Every single one of you. You came in with a mask on, and then why are you guys here? Why are you guys here?
Wow.
That was just to let you guys know, about 3 years ago, that was the health committee, and they didn't want us to be in that room. They were trying to lie to us, telling us that it was a private meeting. We let them know there's no such thing as a private meeting. This is a public meeting because we pay for this building. We pay for your seats. So this is not private. So they were shocked that we were there. They were trying to get rid of us. They tried to pull all these stunts. They tried to tell us that it was against fire code. There was too many of us. They tried to pull all the stops. But thank God we had Rita Palma there. We had John Gilmore there. We had all our warriors there who know the law, know the rules. We cannot be fooled, okay? That was about giving minors consent. If I remember correctly, it was about the minor consent bill. They wanted to give minors the right to choose, like what vaccines they can get. These people are lawless criminals, okay? Children cannot make decisions for themselves. Children cannot even get a tattoo. Children cannot see a rated R movie at the movie theater, not even get an ear piercing. What are these people talking about? We're going to allow them to inject poison into their body? Are we kidding? So that's why we were there. That same energy, we need to bring that energy back, right? Bring that energy back, and we need to get loud. These people are not going away. They work in the shadows. We need to be awake at all times. So I'm calling on all you out there listening to get involved immediately. Call, email, show up to their offices, their district offices, and demand a meeting. Demand that they stop. Right now, we have 5 bills that just passed through the assembly in the speed of light, right? Very quick. And they're ready to ram these through because they know that they have to do it all at once, because if they do it just with 1 or 2 bills, they know we're going to bring the resistance. So right now they're rushing so they don't have to deal with us, but they're going to deal with us one way or another. Okay, and we're going to talk about this. So I'm going to bring a few of these bills so you guys understand. So what just passed right now in the assembly, we have a chance to stop it in the Senate. They have a legal immunity bill. Okay, this is what passed, A9-140. Right now we need to stop, and Michael Kane will bring it up again. S9604, that's giving New York State legal immunity. So anybody who administers a vaccine will get legal immunity. Because why they're bringing this up is because right now New York State has chosen to disregard the federal government, right? Recently, the ACIP committee said that they're not recommending the vaccine schedule as it was, right? They made a few changes. And one of the changes was it's up to the patient and the doctor, right? They don't like this. So the minute you don't follow the federal regulations, you are now no longer covered by the vaccine injury compensation program. That law that gave immunity to pharma, they're no longer protected. So they needed to sneak this bill to protect them. Okay? These people are despicable, disgusting, lawless criminals, and they need to be stopped. Next bill, hepatitis B. The dumbest thing that they passed in the assembly. Okay, this is now the Senate side, which we need to stop, S5724. The reason this is the dumbest thing ever is because if you're infected, if you have a hepatitis B infection, okay, legally, you cannot be thrown out of school because it would be called discrimination. But if you're perfectly healthy and just happen to not be vaccinated with the hepatitis B vaccine, they will kick you out of school. Make it make sense. You know that this is not about health. This is about pharma and big money. So that's the talking point. I need you guys to run tomorrow, don't delay, go to your district office and raise hell. Tell them they need to stop. You're going to do it in a peaceful manner, but you're going to be firm. You're going to let them know that we are watching you and we are not going to go away, and we're going to give you a migraine. We're not going to let you just be comfortable. We're not going to do it. Next, adult vaccine database bill. Again, they passed it in the assembly. What they want to do is track and trace every single vaccine out, whoever's got vaccinated, who hasn't, and they don't want to give you, basically, they won't even ask for your permission. They're just going to enter you in the database. This is very dangerous, and they're going to set this up so they could punish you in the future, just like they punished us during COVID. When you haven't gotten vaccinated, they're going to maybe tell you, you can't fly, you can't work, you can't go to school, you're going to be cast out of society. We're not playing these games anymore. These are old games. And then Hochul's power grab, which unfortunately passed in the Assembly and Senate. Michael Kane will talk to you more about that, but basically she will be allowed to mandate any vaccine she wants to children. And I'm not sure if it's adults, but right now I know it's for children. She'll be able to create whatever schedule she wants. Who is this woman? Like a straight up dictator. She has no medical degree. She has nothing like that. How is she going to tell us, denounce what CDC, ACIP said? She just wants to do what she wants. And just perfect timing right now. We have the amazing Michael Kane, my brother here, and he's going to tell you more about these bills and things we can do to stop these tyrants. What's going on, Michael?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Sorry, sorry to hop in late. My 5-year-old son still requires a lot to actually
Don't
fall
worry
asleep.
about it.
So, but really happy to be here. Mark, it's great to see you. Rosangel's always great to see you.
Same.
Tough times, but tough times call tough people to do tough things, and that's what we do in New York, and that's what we're gonna do now. That's what we always do.
Okay, and for those of you who don't know who Michael Kane is, he is a grassroots organizer, and right now he has a new title. You introduce yourself, because I want you to give the latest, but I want to let you know this guy is a rock star. Michael Kane, this guy is always busy, always working so hard. I love this guy. He's working so hard. And he's accomplished so much. He's accomplished getting people together, he has a real natural talent for getting the right people together at the right time. And this guy has helped me, and John Gilmore, Rita Palma, and a lot of you others out there helped us stop these people time again. Since 2019, this team has been able to stop every vaccine bill that they have thrown at us. And it's because we know how to motivate people, we know how to organize, and we know how to put the message out in the way to get people involved. And that's the key, getting involved. You guys got to make the calls, you guys got to show up, and you guys got to knock on their door and let them know who the hell is boss. Take it away, Michael Kane.
Yeah, so thank you, Cozy. I mean, Cozy's been doing this, longer than I have. He's been fighting in the streets for this stuff before I knew I needed to be fighting in the streets for this stuff. But yeah, my name is Michael Kane. I was the founder of Teachers for Choice. I was a New York City public school teacher fired for not getting the COVID shot. Prior to that, I was fighting to protect the religious exemption of vaccination in New York State. Cozy was doing that. John Gilmore, Rita Palma, Bobby Kennedy came out to Albany fighting for that in 2018, 2019, Del Bigtree. We lost that battle. They repealed the religious exemption. And I remember after that happened, I came out with a petition called New York Teachers Against Vaccine Mandates for Educators in July of 2019, 6 months before anybody heard of COVID-19. Because that's, we were aware, we saw what was going on. And then COVID came and we fought in the streets. New York Freedom Rally, Bravest for Choice with 20,000 people over the Brooklyn Bridge. I founded Teachers for Choice, Cops for Freedom, so many amazing grassroots groups, New York Freedom Rally, on and on. And we all kind of found each other in the streets of New York City, just searching for sanity somewhere, and we found it in each other. And in that process, I'm now the director of advocacy at Children's Health Defense, working with an amazing team there. It's doing some amazing stuff. But Teachers for Choice always has my heart, fighting for the workers that were fired, and who have still not been compensated properly. And ever since 2019, We've been going up to Albany. We've been following John Gilmore, working with him, and fighting whatever comes up in Albany. And we have for 6 years been able to beat down any bad vaccine legislation that has come our way. One, you might remember 3 years ago, Rose Angel actually shot this footage and brought this footage back again just a couple of days ago, almost 3 years ago to the day. I think it was May 2023, somewhere around there. There was a health committee meeting in the assembly in Albany, and they had 3 horrible vaccine bills they wanted to push through. Minor consent bills where minors could get vaccines without parental knowledge, a database bill that would be mandatorily file all adult vaccines into the adult vaccine database where you have no choice in the matter. It just automatically happens. And there was one other bill as well too. And the footage shows Joe Speaks Truth. Shout out to Joe. One of the originals in New York Freedom Rally fighting against the lockdowns. And she's just screaming at these lawmakers going, who do you work for? Do you work for the people or you work for the devil? And leave it to Joe to not mince words, right? Just getting right to the point. But 3 years ago, we stopped those bills. One of those bills passed the assembly entirely, but never did pass the Senate. And now here we are 3 years later, and it's not 3 bills, it was 5 that they jammed through in the assembly, and some of them are still making their way through. One of those bills has passed the assembly and the Senate and is now effectively on Hochul's desk. That's the bill we've been calling the Governor Hochul's vaccine power grab, the one that, as I came on, Cozy was talking about getting rid of federal guidance, getting rid of ACIP and CDC guidance, and just saying, no, New York does what it wants. We listen to who we want to listen to. If we want a vaccine schedule from the AAP, we're going to do. If we want it from the WHO, we're going to do that. WHO, World Health Organization, not American Health Advisory Group, right? This is where New York is headed right now. And that one bill, the vaccine power grab, is on Hochul's desk. The last thing we could do about that is call Hochul as much as possible. I think John Gilmore put out an action alert yesterday about that, just telling people call Hochul. She hasn't signed it yet. She is likely to. But behind that is 4 other bills. There's 4 other bills that are bad vaccine bills. One would be mandatory Hep B to attend college. So check it out. You're a 35-year-old single mom going back to get your secondary college degree, right? While you're working 2 jobs. Guess what? You got to get a Hep B shot if you want to attend college in New York State. I mean, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And the sponsor of that bill, Amy Powlin, Cozy knows Amy Powlin well. Amy Powlin, who's the sponsor of this bill, did something I haven't seen her do in years, 3, 4, 5, 6 years maybe. She posted on her Facebook, look at my Hep B mandatory vaccine shot to go to college. Yay me. This is amazing. 600 comments just destroying her. Just destroying her. Nobody likes this bill. And some of these Democrats in Albany are living in this bubble where they're so rabidly anti-Trump and so rabidly anti-Kennedy. They don't even know their own constituents. They don't even know what the will of the New York people are. So you have Amy Powlin bragging about something that's wildly unpopular. The New York voter is not looking. They're not saying like, man, I got no money in my pocket. It isn't safe to go out on these streets. I don't know if I could live in New York much longer. You know what we need? We need to be forced to get Hep B shots to go to college. Like, that is just not what's going on right now. And I think that the Democrats have overplayed their hand a little bit with these bills. In part, it's really just like a middle finger to Trump and to Kennedy. And so they're playing politics in a way. But I don't know if it's going to pan out the right way for them. I don't know if it is going to do precisely what they want, because whether it's New York, California, Idaho, I mean, people are waking up to this thing after COVID. People do not trust forced medical mandates, period, you know? So there's a couple other bills, and we can get into that. But that's kind of my overall look on this. I do believe the Democrats have overplayed their hand. I do think that means we can capitalize on this. I'll say one other thing, too. I mean, our base here in New York is on fire. My posts about this are getting tens of thousands, 50,000, 100,000 views, where people are really engaged in this. People are DMing, emailing, calling. I know Albany's getting thousands of calls and emails about these bills now. I mean, I know they are, because our base has really gone like, wait, what are you talking about? 5 bad bills? That they're kind of in shock that it's happened, and just a reminder of how insane the Democrats in Albany can be. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everybody that came out on the Zoom that we had with only 24 hours notice. I really appreciate everybody who's drawing attention to this and making this a big issue. Now the next thing I want to see is, where does Bruce Blakeman sit on this stuff? Where does the Republican nominee for governor, where does he sit on this? He hasn't really spoken yet. I have confidence we're going to hear good stuff from him, but we haven't yet. Oh, well, we know Larry Sharp is running for governor with Shannon Joy as well too. They are definitely good on these issues. They've been outspoken on this, but I have confidence we'll hear Bruce Blakeman speak to it soon. But we haven't yet. We haven't heard him speak up on these medical freedom issues yet.
And we saw in the past with certain politicians who are the writers and sponsors of certain bills that, you know, groups of us who protested outside their office, they got a lot of negative publicity to the point where they didn't even run for re-election in some cases, because this is not something that's popular. And for those of you who are watching who are thinking anti-vaxxers or whatever the case may be, or, oh, well, maybe you guys are right about the COVID vaccine, but vaccines are good. Like, no, you don't look into any of this stuff as far as the ingredients and the side effects. And most vaccines, if not all of them, are not good for you. It's weird for me to say that, because this all started with the COVID vaccine, and then I hear stories about people who have the side effects and the rise in autism, and you think it's healthcare, but it's not. And the thing I really want to drill home to people is when they wonder, why would they do this? Why would the government do this? Why would pharmaceutical companies do this? It comes down to one simple answer, and that is money.
Yeah.
Okay. Ever since they got immunity back in 1988, courtesy of Ronald Reagan, one of the worst things he did. He was a good president, but it was a horrible thing that he did. It gave these vaccine companies immunity, and there has not been a vaccine that they haven't liked since. Any vaccine out there, like the hepatitis B vaccine, if I'm not mistaken, it's given to babies at the hospital. This is an STD. There is no reason for a baby to get a hepatitis B vaccine when they're born. The amount of vaccines that they're getting when they're 2 months old is insane. Within the first couple of years, when they're a baby, when their body is still barely developing, if you're going to say it's mandatory for them to get to school, then why not when they're 3 or 4 years old? Why within the few first months of life? And when they have side effects, you know what happens when they have side effects? Medical bills, more money, more medication. It comes down to money. They don't care. They're guaranteed because you're forced to take it. Just like they wanted to force everyone of every age for the COVID vaccine, the pharmaceutical companies make money doing this. So they're forcing you to take it. They're getting money for it. And then they're getting money when you're sick on top of it.
Yeah.
So this isn't, if you say, why would they? No, like, people are evil. You need to understand that people are evil. This is not a fairy tale world where the politicians and the corporations are all looking out for the people's best interest. They're not. Okay? All comes down to money. We got a couple of minutes left with the Brooklyn Free Speech at the 28-minute mark. Cozy, you wanted to say something? I think you're muted.
I said no. I wanted to hear from Rose Angel if she has any questions for Michael.
I'll wait until we hit the bottom, the
Okay.
break. Yeah.
No problem. So
Yeah,
Michael,
and it's
go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, it's just basically getting involved is something. It's not just protests out in the street. It's people like Michael Kane and John Gilmore and a lot of others that are out there not only in the streets, but also in Albany, in these politicians' faces, in the courtroom, filing lawsuits, filing appeals,
That's good.
and that's what gets things done. That's what doesn't make the mainstream media news on how a lot of these tyrannical things that they wanted to pass did not pass because of the medical freedom movement, people like Michael Kane. So thank you for that, for all the hard work that you do. Glad that you're part of the program. Glad that you're continuing to fight in New York. A lot of people left New York because they didn't have a choice for work
Yeah.
reasons or for whatever the case may be, myself included. I was doxxed at my financial services job. I'm a truck driver now. I try to stay involved as much as I can, but it is very important. So if you are still in New York, attend these rallies. And before we wrap up on Brooklyn Free Speech, how can people get more involved, Michael? What's the website? What's the links? We got about a minute left on the Brooklyn Free Speech cable.
Yeah, people should go to teachersforchoice.substack.com, teachersforchoice.substack.com. All the bills are there. There's actions to take for all the bills right at the top of the webpage. Go in there, click on those links, send those emails, make those phone calls. You can make a difference. You can stop the power grab that they're trying to enforce on New Yorkers, basically against our will. You could tell them no, and they're going to listen more now because it's an election year. Our voices are much more amplified now. So yeah, teachersforchoice.substack.com.
Definitely. And we air every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those of you watching on TV could check us out on YouTube and X, Cafecito Break. And you could watch the rest of the show. We're going to be talking about the Trump shooting and the spying in the cars with the cameras and AI and stuff. So check out the full episodes online, and we'll see you next time on Brooklyn Free Speech.